Hello followers of the channel. Hope you'll be doing well this coming festive season, and Merry Christmas to you all. And thank you to all who have supported the channel during last year. Thank you for that. As this is my first Christmas video, the video will be a change from the usual videos on my channel, a one-off, as one might say. The video will be about the people who are homeless in my country. I wanted to share some love and respect to the people who are finding it hard coping with everything happening in their lives and the difficulties they face on a daily basis. Also to provide some advice of some kind that could lead to improvements in their lives and get them off the streets to a better way of life. Merry Christmas to all the people living on the streets everywhere. If possible, could you please give something to the people you see lying on the streets freezing, as they would be very thankful for any help you can give. This will provide positive vibes among the homeless in their time of need. Thank you. How many people are homeless in the UK? In terms of street homeless, official rough sleeping statistics, which showed the number of people living on the streets fell in England during the COVID-19 pandemic, with an estimated 2,440 people sleeping rough counted on a single night in autumn 2021. That's down by 250 people or 9% from 2020, and almost half the peak recorded in 2017. But it remains 670 people, or 38% higher than it was in 2010. The majority of people sleeping rough in England are male, aged over 26 years old, and from the UK. Meanwhile, the Office for National Statistics found men who are living on the street outnumber women at a ratio of 6 to 1. The London-only Combined Homeless and Information Network, chain, whose figures are considered to be more accurate than the official count. The most recent annual count showed 8,239 rough sleepers was spotted on London's streets between April 2021 and March 2022. That was down by a quarter on the 1,118 recorded in the previous year. However, the most recent chain figures show that more people are heading onto London's streets. Just under 3,000 people were spotted by frontline workers between April and June 2022. That's 10% higher than the previous quarter between January and March. In Wales, the official rough sleeping count was suspended due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Since then, official monthly management statistics have taken its place. The most recent count showed 119 people were sleeping rough across the country in July 2022. Scotland doesn't use the same method as England and Wales. The 2021-22 count showed 2,129 households reported sleeping rough in the 3 months prior to making a homeless application to their local council, while 1,304 households said they'd been homeless the previous night. Both figures are the lowest on record since 2002 and 2003. As for wider homeless in England, English councils helped more than 278,000 households to prevent or relieve homelessness between April 2021 and March 2022. That's 16% higher than the previous year, but 9% down on pre-COVID levels. For Wales, the latest statutory homeless figures showed 11,704 households were assessed as homeless or owed a duty by local councils to help them into secure accommodation between April 2021 and March 2022. That, an 11% decrease on the number of households who needed support in 2020 to 21, which is Scotland's latest official homeless statistics, which showed 28,882 households were recorded as homeless in 2021 to 22, up from just over 28,000 in the previous year. That includes 32,592 adults and 14,372 children. Keep in mind that these figures may have changed at the time of this video being published. Spending on homelessness. The UK government is spending £2 billion over the course of 3 years for tackling homelessness and rough sleeping. That breaks down to around £640 million a year, as it looks to deliver on its Conservative manifesto promise to end rough sleeping by 2024. As part of its strategy to achieve this goal, £500 million will be spent on the Rough Sleeping Initiative over the next 3 years to offer 14,000 beds for rough sleepers and 3,000 staff to provide support. A further £200 million will be spent on the Single Homeless Accommodation Programme to provide 2,400 long-term supported homes for people with the most complex needs. Homeless Link, the national membership charity for frontline homelessness organisations, criticised the UK government for not uplifting funding to match rising inflation. The Homeless Link charity found there were 39% fewer accommodation providers and 26% fewer bed spaces for people experiencing homelessness in England in 2021, compared to 2010. With funding cited as one of the main reasons for the decline, the Scottish Government has a multi-year Ending Homelessness Together fund of £100 million, which is being used to deliver on its strategy to end homelessness between 2018 to 2019, and also 2025 to 2026. Even Wales has a strategy to end homelessness. This Ending Homelessness Action Plan is backed by £30 million in funding over 5 years. Homelessness and health. 3/4 of people who are homeless, quizzed in a 2014 Homeless Link survey, had reported a physical health problem. Meanwhile, 80% of respondents reported some form of mental health issue, while 45% had been officially diagnosed with a mental health condition. 39% said they take drugs or recovering from a drug problem, while 27% are recovering from an alcohol problem. 35% declared they had been to A&E, and 26% had been admitted to hospital in the 6 months prior to taking part in the survey. What do people think about homelessness? A poll from Ipsos Mori and the Centre for the Impact of Homelessness, published in April 2021, decided to set out to understand the British public's perception of homelessness. The research found that 9 out of 10 people agreed homelessness is a serious problem in the UK, and almost 3/4 said they believe it doesn't get the attention it deserves. For those of you applying for help, if you're homeless. If you're already homeless, or likely to become homeless in the next 8 weeks, you can apply for help getting somewhere to live from your local council. This is known as making a homeless application. The council will look into your situation to decide what help they might be able to give you. There isn't a set time to get a decision, but there shouldn't be an unreasonably long delay before making an application to check if you're entitled to homelessness help. And if you're not sure, it's still worth applying because the council has to review all homeless applications. If you're not a British citizen and you've been rough sleeping, your right to live in the UK might be affected. If you're applying to the EU settlement scheme, your application cannot be turned down because of your rough sleeping. You can also talk to an advisor if you're worried that rough sleeping might affect your immigration status. The council might have to give you emergency housing straight away while they look at your application. If they refuse to give you housing, you can challenge their decision. If the council won't let you make a homeless application, or they refuse to give you emergency housing, you can contact your nearest citizen's advice to get help. If you're aged 16 to 17, or you've recently been living in care, social services usually have to help you with housing. How to find out if you can get help. You can get council help if you're eligible, and you're legally homeless, or have been threatened with homelessness. How to check if you're eligible for help. You're usually eligible for help if you're a British or Irish citizen living in the UK. If you're a British or Irish citizen who has recently returned to the UK, the rules can be complex. It's best to get advice from your nearest citizen's advice. How to check if you're legally homeless or threatened with homelessness. To get help from the council will require you to be either legally homeless or threatened with homelessness. If you're legally homeless, this may include 1. You have nowhere to live in the UK or abroad. 2. You have to leave your home because you have been served with an eviction notice and must leave ASAP. 3. It wouldn't be reasonable for you to stay at your home, for example, because of abuse or poor conditions, or you can't afford the rent. 4. You have nowhere you can keep your home, if it's movable, because your home is a caravan or a houseboat. 5. You are classed as being threatened with homelessness. 6. For example, you have a home, but you are unable to gain access. This may be because your landlord has unlawfully evicted you by changing the locks. This can be solved by getting help. For your local citizens' advice. What help can you get? If you qualify for help, the council will first check if they can help you find a new home. However, if you're already homeless or you're threatened with homelessness, the council will see if they can help you stay in your home. You will usually be given help for 8 weeks. If you're threatened with homelessness and have been given a valid Section 21 notice, you must be given help for longer. Your landlord doesn't need a reason for giving you a Section 21 notice, as they might want to move back into their property. You can only get a Section 21 notice if you have an assured short-hold tenancy. If you're not sure what type of tenancy you have, you can always use Shelter's tenancy checker to find out. If your landlord gives you a Section 21 notice and you don't have an assured short-hold tenancy, your notice won't be valid. You will be able to challenge your eviction and stay in your home. You don't even have to sign a Section 21 notice to prove you've received it, even if your landlord asks you to. If you're threatened with homelessness and your situation changes so you become legally homeless, you will get help for another 8 weeks, where you will also be given help to find a new home. The council has to work with you by putting together a written housing plan, explaining exactly how they will help you stay in your home or find a new one. For example, if you're threatened with homelessness, they might be able to negotiate with your landlord so you can stay in your home. Or if you're already homeless, they might be able to give you a deposit to get private rented housing. If the council can't help you stay in your home or find a new one, they will check if they can give you more help. You might be able to get emergency housing or even longer-term housing. How to find out if you can get emergency housing. You can get short-term emergency housing straight away if the council believes all these things apply. 1. You're eligible for help. 2. You're legally homeless. 3. You're in priority need. If you're threatened with homelessness, but you can't get emergency housing, or you later become legally homeless, you then might be able to get emergency housing. If you're offered emergency housing, you could be placed in a bed and breakfast or a hostel, while the council decides if you qualify for longer-term housing. You can check what to do if you have nowhere to stay or if you can't get emergency housing. How to check if you're in priority need. You will be in priority need if you are 1. Living with a child. This will usually include a child aged 16 to 18 if they are in full-time education or training. 2. Pregnant or living with someone who is pregnant. 3. Homeless because of domestic abuse. 4. Homeless because of an emergency, for example a fire or flood. 5. 16 to 17, and you're not living with your family, and social services can't help you. 6. 18 to 20, and you are living in care. 7. You're also in priority need if it's more difficult for you to cope with being homeless because of your needs. This is known as being vulnerable. You might be vulnerable, for example, because of a disability or of old age. Your local council might also decide you're vulnerable if you have a medical condition which increases your risk of getting the coronavirus. How to find out if you can get longer-term housing. If you qualify for emergency housing help, you might be able to get longer-term housing if you didn't cause your homelessness, known as being intentionally homeless. The council might also refer you to another council to be housed if for some reason you don't have a local connection, for example by living in the area for some time. If you qualify for help, you might very well be offered a council or housing association flat or house, but you could also be offered a private rented home instead. Be sure to check you didn't cause your homelessness, as you usually won't get longer-term housing if the council thinks you made yourself homeless. This includes if you 1. Left a home you could have stayed in. 2. Didn't make rent or mortgage payments you could afford. 3. Made arrangements with someone to become homeless, for example, getting your family to evict you when you didn't have to move out. Having a local connection. If you qualify for longer-term housing, the council will only have to give you housing if you have a local connection. But don't worry, you will still be housed, but it might be by another council. If you don't have a local connection, the council can refer you to another council that you have a connection to. They can't do this if you are in risk of violence in the area allocated to you. For example, if you have an abusive ex-partner in the area, contact your nearest citizen's advice if referred to in an area where you would probably be at risk of violence. The council might accept you have a local connection to your area if, for example, 1. You've been living in the area for some time, usually for the last 6 months. 2. You work in the area. 3. You have family living in the area.
If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe to my channel. I hope you come back again, as more videos will be uploaded soon. And once again, thank you for your interest.
Oh, before I forget, next year, my videos will be back doing more adventures around the UK. Merry Christmas everyone, and a better New Year.